Hansen, and I am the Community Projects Coordinator for the Idaho Falls Police Department. I am here with Chief McBride, and we thought we'd start a new series just kind of talking a little bit about some different things, questions that people might have regarding budgets, upcoming events, issues that are going on in the neighborhoods, everything like that. So it's just kind of a very casual conversation. So periodically you'll be seeing these different types of videos or conversation videos. So I know the chief is kind of on board with it. We're going to work on his video skills. So do you have anything to say as far as, like, you know, the purposes of these conversations?
Well, first off, thanks Jolene, but hi to all those that are watching. I'm Chief McBride, Idaho Falls Police Department. I think this is an important thing we can do to have more engagement with the community. You know, it's not always possible for us to get out, or for me to get out and meet large groups of people and have these one-on-one discussions. So we're going to try this for a little while, see how that works. And I think there'll be times when Jolene will actually Facebook, Twitter, or something, and ask for input from the community on what questions they would like me to answer. We're going to try this and see if this will help with our community engagement. We have a lot of good officers and good staff here that work very hard, very dedicated to this city. And we think it's important, I think it's important that this community understand how hard that we work to make this a safer community, be engaged.
Okay, so we're here with Chief McBride, and we're just going to spend a little time talking to him about the 4th of July. So the first question I have for you is, what is the most important thing residents should remember about the 4th of July?
Well, first off, I think the most important thing is that it's the celebration of the independence of our nation. That's the most important thing. And I know you're talking to me as a police officer, but it's a great tradition celebrating the independence of our nation. Law enforcement, part of our credo is to protect the communities, protect the Constitution. And so it's very important, law enforcement's role in this, but also for safety in our community. So it's really important that family members remember to be safe in all that they do. There's a lot of alcohol involved that day. A lot of people out on the roads, a lot of people out on the street, and they're mixing with a lot of people, a lot of pedestrians, a lot of bicyclists. You know, so it's a deadly combination. So people need to really, especially people with families, need to watch their young children to make sure that they don't dart out in the street or something like that. That they keep an eye on them, and also when they're attending the activities around the greenbelt, they just keep careful watch on their children because of the river. It's all dangerous situation, but need to be safe in all that they do. So those are some of the most important things, probably.
Well, what can we expect from, I guess, the police department as far as, you know, whether it's, I mean, is there going to be extra people on staff to help still with response times, as far as, like, even just regular response to 4th of July related response, like along the festivals and everything?
Well, we always employ extra staff. There's very few officers that have the day off. In fact, officers work usually 12, sometimes up to 20 hours a day to have the coverage needed because of all the activities going on with your Heritage Festival, your parade, your fireworks. Just want to be a safe environment and help the traffic flow and things like that. So we have a lot of staff that we employ on the 4th of July. Very few get the day off.
So, you know, so families that are going down to the parade and down to the festival on the falls, the Liberty Festival, I mean, are they going to see a lot of bike cops and walking cops that day, hopefully, or?
Hopefully is right. Yeah, we have more officers on bikes and walking patrols around those areas where there's going to be a lot of people. And then we have our volunteers that come out and help us, and they're a very important part of the police department and part of these community events to help us when there are problems on the greenbelt or at the parade routes. They're very important to have, and so they're going to help us. And we always have our command posts set up for lost and found, especially lost children, and that's usually on the east side of the river, especially during the afternoon and evening times when we're getting ready for the fireworks.
And that command post is specifically at, usually at the roundabout there at D and Memorial.
Yeah.
So, or close to that proximity. What are, just to kind of go real quick, but what are some of the, you talked briefly about some of the safety tips that for parents, but what are some other key safety factors that people really should keep in mind for the 4th of July?
Well, not only the traffic issues with pedestrians and bicycles, but as we're celebrating the 4th, we like to shoot off the fireworks. It's a big party, a big celebration, and that's something that we need to be very careful with. Obviously, the fire codes have things in place for what type of fireworks can be used to be safe, so that we don't cause property damage or hurt people. But even the safe and sane type fireworks can hurt individuals. It causes serious burns usually is what happens. So we need to be very careful, and the children need to have adult supervision while they're lighting those fireworks. Yeah,
I understand that under state law, children need to be at least 16 years of age to light fireworks, so that's probably a good reminder as well.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Just trying to help you out. Okay, so just to kind of go back, talking a little bit more about fireworks, one of the biggest complaints that we receive during this time of year is disturbance issues. So what can you kind of hopefully tell people about, about handling fireworks disturbances?
Well, officers are assigned, when somebody calls in complaints about fireworks, officers are assigned to go and look into that, because it does become a public nuisance to some people. We're all having a party, but everybody doesn't like the same party. Plus, a lot of those complaints are the illegal fireworks. And so we're bound by statute to enforce those laws. And so the officers will be dispatched to those locations to look into the issues and try to correct any problems there. And it is an annoyance to people of certain ages sometimes have problems, maybe babies sleeping, adults that aren't as tolerant sometimes, then animals. They get very frightened with hearing these fireworks go off, and so it causes a lot of problems for animals. Animals run away, so we need to be considerate of our neighbors and obey the law.
Okay. Well, let me just ask you real quick, so what are some of the McBride family traditions at 4th of July?
Well, that's interesting, because as a police officer, most of my career, I worked the 4th of July, what I talked about before, those 12 to 20 hour days, and so there wasn't a lot of participation on my part other than here in the community and the public, and I could stop by the family events. But my wife's family, her grandparents had a house on 17th Street, and the parade used to go right by them, so the tradition started years ago of the family going to the parade. Excuse me. And we still have that tradition. In fact, our kids come back from other states every year. We go to the parade for the 4th of July, and then there's the family picnics, and that culminates in a big water fight, water balloon fight. And then it's usually a short rest period, and then your activities for the evening of the Heritage Festival, and then the fireworks.
I don't think it's called the Heritage Festival anymore.
I don't know.
I think it's the Liberty Festival.
Is it a Liberty Festival now? Maybe that's what it was.
That dates you pretty well.
It does. Heritage Festival is toughest part.